What up, bruvs? Big Sully is returning home from jail. Find out who's mad on Top Boy.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz.
Hey, how is everyone going? Or how is everyone? How are you?
Hello. I have a British accent now. You know, I've never been able to get the British accent down. It's so interesting to me how many British actors get the American accent down so well. I remember when I first found out that Idris Elba on The Wire was English. He was giving an interview, and I'm expecting him to be some Baltimore dude. And he's like, so when we were acting, I was like, what? Wait, no, what?
What? But guys, we can't get enough of the English accent. And this is season 1, episode 2, Building Bridges of Top Boy. Honey, and we are getting into it and loving everything that has anything to do with London. The East Side, of course. So let's get right into it. I am your girl, Zakia, and I'm here with ya. I love everything about Drake. So, of course, I had to be on this panel, and I'm here with my co-host, Tehran.
I'm more of a Mayfair person. I don't know if you know where Mayfair is. However, if I'm in London, catch me at Nose Cove over there in Mayfair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's traveled the world, basically, so he knows everything as far as the insight on London and every other place.
Allegedly. We're in criminal enterprises right now. Everything is the word allegedly.
Basically, and he was a kingpin in his past life. Allegedly. So, we loved it. What were your overall thoughts
of this week's episode? Overall, I'm going to say that this was an exciting second episode going into more of the storylines. We get a little bit of Jamie, and now we see this crossover. Last episode, good guy, bad guy Jamie separated. But in this one, at the teacher-parent conference, we saw a little of the bad guy come out.
He poked through.
He did. And you saw his brother, you saw Steph, not only feeling a little confident with it, also emulating it, which could be a conflict of interest later as we go down the line. We also see that Aaron possibly knows more than he's letting on into his brother's life. Aaron is not a little kid. He's not Steph. He understands what's going on. He understands the streets, and he's in university. So we're bouncing their ages up just a little higher than we originally speculated. Also, it was very interesting to see Sully return, and Sully still being Sully, of course, with his takedown of Modi, who we got a dose of in the first episode by conjecture, of course, as he was the 18-year going to jail for 18 years because of his kingpin activities in London Fields. Mm-hmm. So now we have Summer House meets London Fields, the turf war. Let the turf war begin.
Let it begin. I agree. I think we got a lot of insight on the different turfs. It was like A Road, Summer House, the Fields, and they mentioned something else about some suppliers, but I guess they were little kids. I love that they gave us insight more on how Sully was doing in jail, and also how Jamie in his split life is, but it also meshes together as far as his home life and his hood life. Seems like they come together and they split apart, and we just never know what Jamie we're gonna get. But so Big Bad Sully is in jail. He's in jail, and seems like he has some enemies.
He was in jail.
Right, because he's getting out. But he has some enemies, and I feel like Modi is it a power issue because Modi is from the Fields and Sully is from Summer House, or do you think like they just don't like each other?
It has a lot to do with all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you have two alphas in one situation, one's always going to try to dominate the other. Secondly, we have a situation where Sully's getting out on Friday. Modi's just got in and is going in for 18 years. Mm-hmm. The most dangerous position to be in jail is when everyone knows your term date. You're getting out on Friday, especially early conditional release. I am jealous of that. A lot of prisoners have hate, and they do hateful, spiteful things, and it's an unfortunate activity that goes on in jail. Mm-hmm. And so we see that, especially in prisons where people are going out and some people are doing life, those individuals become very jealous. They want you to be with them. Misery loves company.
Facts. And we saw that Sully, he made up some type of concoction to burn Modi, and it's just so crazy to me the things that they made in the jail.
The concoction?
The concoction.
Do you know what it is?
No, it was
hot water and sugar.
And it burns.
Boiling water and sugar on the skin does not feel good, does not allow wounds to heal. Also gets in your eyes, the granules, they cut up your eyes. It's a very dangerous thing.
Why do you know this?
Because I allegedly.
we have to know. Why do you know this?
It's a common, unfortunately, a common tactic in prisons.
Okay. And we also saw one of the things, a toothbrush with a blade on it.
So you can't have a lot of contraband in prison. So we see a lot of makeshift devices on this. We see a makeshift blade, which is the handle is the toothbrush, which is legal. But now a lot of toothbrushes aren't legal because people were sharpening the tips and using them as shanks or picks. And with the blade, as you put the blade right in the brush area and you use the brush to secure it on extremely tight.
Oh gosh. Well, with these man-made concoctions, I mean, it's definitely safe to say that Sully is no dummy, especially when it came to him and going to the police and saying, I didn't do that. That's my friend. He was very convincing. I would have never had thought that he didn't, and he knew that no one was going to snitch. So
apparently Modi wasn't going to be a Tekashi. We weren't going to have Modi snitch because then he would have lost all his credibility, and he's got 18 years to go in jail.
Yeah, true.
So Sully played on the part that he executed a plan. He explained not only to us, the audience, but to Modi and the crew that yes, I'm the OG, you're the new G, but respect is earned and deserved. He expressed why he was top dog. Let's not play like Sully wasn't the man in these streets.
Right.
He was second to only person was Dushane, and that's simply because of their split. So we're looking at a situation as if, once again, power meets shatas, right? So here Tommy's no dummy either.
Yeah. For sure, is a fact. I mean, going from the jailhouse back to the streets, we got Jamie, who's in these streets, and as you said, his personalities are very different from home life and his street life, especially when he was at school with Stefan. He was still trying to connect with his street life, but then we saw that interaction where him and Stefan kind of came to when they were talking to the sarcastic teacher, and they basically read him. Well, Jamie read him, and I just think it's so interesting for me because I felt like that teacher had fear in his heart, honey. He didn't want to play with Jamie any longer, and I still love that Jamie's and his little brother's interaction, aside from the part that he like put fear in the teacher's heart. What do you think about their interaction, or Jamie and his street life?
Well, when it came to speaking of Miss Griffith, we saw that Jamie flashed on the smile and wanted his brother's marks to be a little higher. He didn't have a full understanding of marks, so we're thinking that maybe his schooling wasn't as sufficient as we would like. However, he was still happy with Steph's progress and wants him to understand that he's there, supportive and proud of him. We saw that interaction where he says he's texting Aaron. We suspect that he's not because of the tone of his texting demeanor. Then he goes and speaks to Mr. Evans, who's the geography teacher we learned about in episode 1, who seems to be giving Steph remarks that are sarcastic and below average grades. And Jamie not only reads the teacher but the situation and sticks up for his brother.
Right, and he definitely does. And I feel like that leadership he is taking on also in the fields, when he basically sunned Leighton, saying, yo, I'm running the fields now, you're basically not. And now he came up to one of the A roads, which is a dangerous situation because obviously these guys are nothing to play with. In that mall incident, when he was up in one of the
he's a loose cannon. I don't know if it's nothing to play with. He seems to be a loose cannon. He comes off very tough and jumpy, and a lot of that character resonates with a lot of street characters that exist. The crazy dealer, who's also the most dangerous one,
right? And
and not in a good way, a dangerous one, as in the one who's reckless and possibly putting everyone at risk.
Exactly. And he put everyone at risk. Okay, so basically he put everyone at risk when he came up and shot the car that Jamie just met this nice girl, Tilly. She was so cute. Their relationship was so cute, and they were talking about watches. I mean, Jamie's a little strong as far as his approach, but I feel like he can't help it. But he possibly killed Tilly. killed
Tilly's
Tilly.
dead.
Yeah, she's gone, and he basically had it out for Jamie, and we knew that was about to happen.
It's called ride or die for a reason, right? So she decided to ride, and then she ended up to die.
Oh no.
Interestingly enough, it all comes about where the concept is we see Jamie basically mac on Tilly at the mall when he has that meeting set up with Cam of A-Roads, the loose cannon, and then Tilly having the judgment of mind to say, I don't want your number, don't give me a number, but there's something dangerous and intriguing about you, reminiscent of people that we know in the studio right now who would possibly be in that situation. No.
Oh.
To think that there's an attractive quality to this lifestyle.
I don't know. I just like watching it on TV. Disclaimer. Okay.
And then Tilly does set up a date, and of course, Jamie arrives with his henchmen, his posse, and Tilly being a good girl. Tilly's a good girl. It's interesting to me how a lot of unsavory characters tend to enjoy or like good girls. There's something there. There's a psychology there that we should definitely discuss.
Yeah, I think so for sure. Speaking of good, we had the good brothers, and they were so cute, and they were in the garden. And we got some history behind everything, especially behind their family life. So now we know that their parents aren't there. So their parents are possibly dead. For sure, their mom is possibly dead, and their father is possibly dead. And they go there every time it's one of their parents' birthday.
What did you think about their bonding on the bench?
I thought it was cute, and I thought it really took me to look at Jamie differently. So I see him with his family life as more of a father figure and someone that his brothers do look up to, and they don't see the bad side of Jamie. They see only the good side, and they see his discipline as lessons, and they need him. He is their foundation. Without Jamie in their life right now as their brother, not this drug pin person, but he is providing dollars, but as their brothers and as their provider, they need him. So I thought the dynamic is interesting between Jamie in the streets.
What did you think about Jamie and the different way he handles Steph and the way he handles Aaron?
As I said before, I feel like he has to give Steph more love because he knows Steph needs it. And then it's like when you're a parent, it's like, I know Steph needs this love right now. He's unsure of himself. He's still young. And Aaron, I know he needs to be more responsible. He's getting older. He has to take more responsibilities. And I want him to be better than I am. So he's a little bit harder on him, which I would completely understand as a parent. You know, like each child is differently. I'm not a parent, but I have a lot of nieces and nephews. And each child is differently. You have to speak to them differently. And it's like being a leader, which he does even in like the fields.
Did you find it interesting? Because I did, when Steph embraces when Jamie embraces Steph, but then pushes away Aaron in a way with saying you're too old for all that, when Aaron might need it as well, comforting because Aaron has lost his parents and is a middle child very much, but then gives him the dap, but then also gives him the money, which we found Aaron stealing from before, from the box in Jamie's room.
You know, what do you think? Because it seems like you have like some type of idea about it. Because I didn't think it was so bad as far as his approach with him, but I do understand like Aaron does need a hug. But again, Jamie is a young boy. He doesn't know much about parenting or being the provider. He just knows a little, or what he's
but it's a form of toxic masculinity where we have Jamie rebuffing Aaron's need for an emotional connection with his brother. We see Aaron come back and say, is everything all good? Nodding at the fact that maybe Aaron understands there's more to Jamie than what seems to be or meets the eye. Also, expressing that Aaron needs some type of emotional sympathy as well. He's being hardened by Jamie, but is this a good form of hardening? Is this what Aaron really needs? Or is this the only way Jamie knows how to be?
Right. I agree with you. It is a bad form, and it's something that Aaron definitely needs, like love, but it's the only thing Jamie knows, and I think he doesn't know anything until like the next day. Literally, he's learning day by day how to deal with this situation. But it's just so interesting to me, especially about Dushane when he comes back into London, and everything has changed, and he's the old OG. Nobody looks at him the same, and him and Dre's like conversation on the couch just remind me of old retired. Nobody really cares about like these guys. You got no respect. No one respects him at all. Even Jack, she didn't stand up for him. She's like, who is he? He's been hiding out if he's the top G. It's just so crazy when you've been gone for a long time, how things can change, especially being in that I kind of would call them a work, like a job force, because at the end of the day, they have their income, they have their supplies. I mean, it's crazy, but
it's funny you say
being
that.
out of the industry, the drug industry,
there would be a very similar component to a drug kingpin and a CEO. It's
right.
A very similar interaction. The only difference is possibly the side of the track that you were born on.
Mm-hmm.
When we see Dushane re-enter London society, we also notice something different, which is a big character that plays in the show. Besides all the characters we're introduced to, London, especially the neighborhoods, which are clearly created neighborhoods, Summer House, London Fields, they don't particularly exist. However, their synopsis does exist. We see these neighborhoods do exist on the east side and the lower south side of London. We do see these type of communities. So we see Dushane return. He's the OG, as you expressed. However, he's not recognizing anything. And something that's very interesting is the concept of gentrification. He walks into a coffee house, which wouldn't be there. It'd be akin to going to Compton and there being a brand new Starbucks, or better yet, a Pete's opening up. Walks in. He's waiting for coffee. The coffee's not being brewed the way he's used to. They're explaining to him what coffee is. It's not just regular coffee. He's paying too much. He gets his coffee. It takes time. He walks outside. Everyone's white. He doesn't know where he is. We see a very similar thing when we go to inner city of New York City, and in my personal city in Washington, D.C., we see a lot of that gentrification in neighborhoods that would not have been that way. If it's good or not, I'm sure it is for the people that own,
right?
But it's horrible for the people that
live there,
truly own, the ones who were originally there.
Yeah.
This is a different form of colonization.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. Can't even take that away at all, because we see it so much, and we're continuous to see it even in LA here in Inglewood. So it is something that we continuously see. But we
see it in Inglewood all the time. You just spend a lot of time in Inglewood.
I've heard about it because I just moved here.
Okay.
He is trying to take my.
I'm just asking questions.
Ooh, I'm gonna get gangster up in here. No, I'm just kidding. But Dushane has a love interest. Do you think I see something brewing between them? Is the way they touch each other.
Dushane and Shelly?
Yes, exactly. The way that they hand off little things, the ice pack, the look back.
You say this, but I feel like Shelly and Jack had a moment. I think Jack came in on her young ma and was smacking and spitting game to Shelly, and Shelly smiled and was not opposed to it. Do I know anything about Shelly other than that she seems to be a more grown version of Tilly? Yeah. Not so much.
I mean, Shelly taking care of his mom, I felt like that was a soft spot for Dushane. And it seemed with his eyes, me knowing how men look at you sometimes.
Do you?
Yes, I do. Yes, with his eyes, it seemed he had a taken for her.
Shelly's very attractive.
Yeah, and the fact that she's taking care of his mother, I think made it helps. Yeah, made it even better. So she's maybe sweet. We'll see some type of love brewing between them.
That's what I mean about gangsters, unsavory characters, and their conservative counterparts. The princess, we see that motif throughout time. New Jack City, Goodfellas, we see that.
But we don't know about Shelly. She could be gangster. We know she does nails.
Possibly she could be gangster. Possibly she learned how to give diabetes shots by shooting up heroin herself. No, I don't think so. I think Shelly's a sweetheart. She has a child. Possibly the only connection I could see is if Shelly had a child and it turns out to be that her child's father was a D-boy.
Interesting. We'll see. So immigration, we heard a little bit about it in this episode, especially with At's mom. She lost her job behind it, and she's been there for 18 years. It's super unfair. We see that happening. What were your thoughts about it? Because I know it was a lot for me.
Well, we spoke about immigration in the last episode where I personally brought up the concept of the immigrants that live in London and in the UK and how things are going towards the right into that conservative atmosphere, which we see also here in the United States.
Yeah.
We see that now play out specifically in this episode where immigration officers, uninvited, go to At's mom and they speak to Amma.
They belittle her.
And they speak to her disrespectfully.
Yeah.
You're in cleaning services, contact her job, have them basically let her go under the force and guise of it being illegal. And now she's unemployed, making it her now in violation, which is why they asked, "Are you employed?" She said yes, and now she's unemployed.
Right.
Now there's going to be a conflict. We see this trope with Ats, who's the smart kid. We had brought up how Jack and Rome could possibly be recruiters. This could be their segue into that. We now know that Jack and Rome are part of Drees's crew, which means Dushane, which also means that there's a conflict of interest between Dushane and Drees because Dushane is about to supply Drees, and Jamie's crew, who is the young crew that Dushane says they're just kids. You won't know any of them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they'll get to know each other very soon.
Exactly.
And specifically mentions whoever attempts to sell you food, quote unquote, is the one who did the Turks in.
Exactly. Take a good look at them. So I have a special segment that I wanted to bring to you about, but I wanted you to let us know, why do we love AfterBuzz so much before I do so?
We love AfterBuzz so much because of all of you. Each and every one of you at home is as much, if not more so, a part of this panel than all of us here in studio. We love all your favorite TV shows and we love discussing them with you. So leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. Give us your ideas, your theories. And if you have any knowledge, we love learning from you more. Also, if you're listening to us on iTunes, give us that 5 stars we so greatly deserve. And if you don't think so, let us know why. We're always striving to do better. Thank you all at home for help making us the ESPN of TV talk.
Ba-dum-bum. Yeah, that was good. But so I made up this special segment, and it was important to me because I feel like we see a lot of hood finds. So for myself, I saw the shoebox. Now, the infamous shoebox is always under the bed. It has money, or it's on top of the refrigerator. You might see something similar to a shoebox, which is the water container that I know my parents used to put coins in. Did you see any hood finds?
Well, you know that this is a quote-unquote hood because of the way that the apartments are structured. The apartments are structured in a semi-repeating stature, going up high with no defining architecture at all. That's reminiscent of basically a project or a hood. We see that especially on the East Coast, much more on the West Coast. For some reason, you wouldn't even know if you're in the hood unless you saw the people.
Yep.
To be very honest, the places are very nice. Houses, yards, fences. It's actually extremely interesting to me coming from the East Coast.
Yeah.
On the East Coast, you know exactly when you're in the hood because of the way it looks. The nondescript building, the tall, it's a high rise of some sort. It's always one specific color, everything looking the same. We see that when Dushane goes to visit his mother after a long time. We see that in the first episode, of course, when we see where Jamie, Aaron, and Steph live. So that's a hood find.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. I know for my hood that I lived in, since you didn't know nothing about me, but it was similar. It didn't go up, but it went side by side. So every house.
But then again, that's how Buffalo looks.
Yo, he stayed trying to come at my hood. Okay.
Please.
You know what? We're gonna keep it on top.
Bufftown? Okay, I don't know what you guys say.
Whatever. Let's get right into our news and gossip, guys, because we got some tea.
TV news.
So if you didn't know, Drake is the executive producer of Top Boy, one of the executive producers, and he had some pictures on his Instagram, and he says, "Cheers to everyone and their hard work, and thank you, Future the Prince, for seeing it through for me." So basically September 13th is when Top Boy aired, and look at how cute Drake is. Champagne Poppy. No? Okay.
I want to give a shout out to my boy Drake and the whole OVO crew, Ryan, of course, all you boys. Thank you so much for putting this show out. we talked about this, of course, when we were having a release event at your house. So it was very interesting to see your work come to play. You guys, I will look forward to the next OVO event.
Oh, me too, because I'm coming with him. He said I can come.
No. No, I did not.
Wow. I thought you... No?
No.
No.
Okay. Tilly. See what happens to Tilly?
We're working on this relationship here at AfterBuzz. We're gonna keep working on it. I keep telling him he's my friend. He's denying it, but
you gotta earn your stripes, Bufftown. You gotta earn those stripes. Hood fines.
We're some real OGs out here. I mean, tell them what your plugs are so they could keep on watching.
Well, if you want to find me, please find me at I Am Tehran all across the board. And of course, find me hosting and paneling on a slew of other AfterBuzz after shows, because all of your favorite TV shows are my favorite TV shows too. We will be talking way more Top Boy as we get into the next episode right after this, so you're going to want to stay tuned.
Yes, you are. And my name is Zakia Wilbert. You can find me on Instagram at ZakiaW_. Also, I do record the show David Makes Man on Wednesday. 2 episodes left, so you want to stay tuned. It's super good. And keep watching, because like he said, we're coming back with more Top Boy. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.